Good morning to you. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Louise Minchin.
Our headlines today. Good morning. It's Wednesday, February the 24th. Our top story. Tiger Woods has been undergoing surgery after suffering multiple leg injuries in a car crash in Los Angeles.
He had to be freed from the wreckage by firefighters and the paramedics, but he was said to be alive and conscious at the scene. Our West Coast correspondent Sophie Long has this report from Los Angeles. Secondary schools in England are set to receive funding to run summer schools. It's part of the government's plans to help children catch up after months of learning from home.
The Prime Minister has pledged an extra £400 million for extra lessons and tutoring schemes, but teaching unions are warning more investment is needed. Our education correspondent Dan Johnson has more. More than 30,000 women in England are being offered do-it-at-home smear tests as part of a trial by the NHS.
Experts hope that the test could be a way to encourage more women to get screened for early warnings of cervical cancer. Our health correspondent Sophie Hutchinson reports. You might remember last week we showed you some incredible pictures of turtles. Do you remember that were left cold stunned by a winter storm in Texas? We've got an update. I love this update.
Saying as well, if you didn't see the very beginning of the programme this morning, there has been an update just in the last few minutes in connection with Tiger Woods, and the statement, this is on his own Twitter site, but it's basically the details from his surgeon saying he has suffered significant orthopaedic injuries. Bones of the foot and ankle have been stabilised with screws and pins, and a number of trauma damage to the muscle and soft tissue of his leg. But we'll find out a little more detail on that throughout the programme for you this morning.
Yeah, they also go on to say that he's currently awake, responsive and recovering as well in his hospital room. Thank you as well. They do. Thank you to the wonderful doctors and nurses and staff there at the hospital where he's been treated.
Apropos of what John's piece just a moment ago about the countryside and how we need to look after things, there's sort of a link here, isn't there? A beautiful picture in the Daily Telegraph, or was done, but you can see how easily that could have caused a lot of problems.
Absolutely. So many people watching so much telly at the moment. Fans of Line of Duty you'll probably be delighted to hear that there is going to be
Bodyguard, in which Keely Hawes played the MP. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yes.
I've watched a lot lately, and it all gets a bit blurred.
Have you watched that one as well?
Yes, but that was a while. No, that was quite some time ago, wasn't it? But yes, she was the MP and the bodyguard, and there was a relationship and all that.
And this is a little update on what's going on with Dylan the dog, who's obviously one of Downing Street's residents.
OK. I didn't know that was an issue that was knocking around the world. Why shouldn't there be a dog?
He is not terribly well behaved.
Oh, well.
OK.
OK.
He's a dog.
That happens, doesn't it? And I'm just going to pick... There's another picture story here, which I'm going to unveil gradually for you. It's a bit of origami going on here. Look at the folding. Neatly done. Do you agree, Lou? With rollerblades...
You can get around quickly.
They can zip around pretty quickly.
Wow. There you go. We can talk about running now, actually. And for many people, a daily run is one of the few joys left during lockdown. But sadly, for some, that's also being ruined.
Some joggers say they've had to face appalling abuse from drivers and passers-by who heckle and shout at them. Natalie Bell has been speaking to some of those affected. A correspondent with Golf Digest and had been working with him, only yesterday, as you heard.
And we do know that, so he's had this operation. We do know he's currently awake, responsive and recovering in his hospital room, but obviously more details will emerge. Let's find out what's going on the weather, and Carol's got more details for us again. Morning.
Good morning.
From.
Thank you. So, couples hoping to get married this year are still facing an uncertain few months after the government announced the earliest date for a full-size wedding in England is June the 21st.
Let's talk to some people who've been caught up in this. Wedding venue owner and bride-to-be. How to do that? They're well prepped.
Let's catch up on the weather. It's 12 minutes past 7 and that looks kind of, foreboding slightly, Carol.
Catch up with the weather now, 7:50. Carol's got all the details for us right now. How's it looking, Carol?
See you later. No, I don't know what you're talking about. It's lovely to see you, Carol. 7:53.
So almost 18 million people we know have had their first dose of the coronavirus vaccine, and second doses are, of course, now being rolled out.
So one couple who have received their second jab are Barbara and Arthur Simper. We met them back in December in Milton Keynes at the very start of the vaccination programme. They were among the first people in the world to receive it.
And now they are fully protected. There's just one thing they're looking forward to, of course. That's hugging their grandchildren. Barbara and Arthur join us.
Catch up on what's going to happen with the weather today. Carol has details. Morning.
Good morning.
But it was blow your hat off weather yesterday afternoon. It really was. Did you have a hat
Charlie,
on?
Instead, it's more like this with lockdown here everywhere.
Oh, Carol. Oh, I think you know what? We all know that feeling, Carol.
Very true.
We're all in it together in that.
12 minutes past 8 the time now. So, March the 8th, you'll know that date by now. All pupils will return to school in England, and there have been concerns raised over months of lost learning and fears that some children are being left behind.
For many teachers, they are worried that it could put students off learning completely, and they're keen not to discourage anyone or add extra pressure. The government's announced additional funding to help get pupils back on track. So many things we still need to find out, but it will emerge, won't it? 23 minutes past 8. Historic and stately homes in England won't be able to open their doors to the public again until May the 17th at the earliest under the Prime Minister's new roadmap.
But with so many properties relying on now banned large-scale events, can country houses survive the pandemic?
Let's speak to the owner of Highclere Castle, better known as... What, do you know it? Do you know what it is? Downton Abbey, Lady Carnarvon Library, actually. So, I mean, you heard this news, a couple of days ago. What were your plans and how has it affected you?
Don't know. I mean, how many staff would you normally be employing, and what is the situation? You have people on furlough. How does it sit at the moment?
Some are sitting here and being able to see the sort of beautiful environment that you live in. I mean, are you concerned for the future of, being able to offer that to people and other people in your, in those kind of businesses, that they will not survive? A book in that library for you? Just briefly.
I'd like a pot of tea and a cucumber sandwich.
Wouldn't you? Oh, isn't it wonderful? It's nice. A wonderful environment. Time now to get the news, the travel and the weather, wherever you're watching. Thank you. See, time now is 8:33. We heard yesterday from the Scottish First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, who was unveiling what she called a deliberately cautious route out of lockdown. She said it was hoped that the country's stay-at-home restrictions could be lifted on the 5th of April and shops, bars and restaurants can reopen from the 26th of April. Excuse me. Our Scotland reporter Alexandra Mackenzie is in... Morning, welcome back. You are watching Breakfast with Charlie and Louise. Time now is 8:32. Morning Live follows us on BBC One a little later on. Let's find out what's in things are working in practice in terms of the science and the medicine behind the decisions announced yesterday. Yeah. Sally's got some updates for us this morning on Tiger Woods. We, I know, had this accident yesterday, and so many people... 8:44 the time now. Being able to enjoy a walk in the countryside has, of course, provided a vital escape for lots of us during the pandemic, but the National Trust says it's taking its toll on our beauty spots. Yeah, what exactly is going on? John Maguire is at Lee Woods in Bristol for us this morning, and we know visitor numbers have gone up, and it's had an impact, hasn't it? Morning, John.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
8:54 the time right now. So let's go back to our top story today. Tiger Woods has been undergoing surgery after suffering serious multiple injuries in a car crash in Los Angeles.
Let's speak now to former European Open golf champion.
You're watching BBC Breakfast. It's 8:59.
So holidaymakers have been booking summer trips in their thousands since the roadmap to restarting foreign travel was announced. So how soon could we be jetting off? What changes will there be? Nina, I mean, what people want is certainty, but I mean, even in the meantime...
Time now is 6 minutes past 9. We have a last look at the headlines where you are this morning.
Now, when actor Michael Cashman made history in the 1980s, sharing the first gay kiss broadcast on UK television, the scene in EastEnders caused widespread controversy.
And we fast forward 30 years. He can count himself a campaigner, author and peer, of course, in the House of Lords. But Michael believes the fight for equality is important now as it ever was then.
And he joins us now. Michael, we haven't got much time, but so many people have engaged with that programme and sort of been, you know, people from a younger generation than perhaps me, for example, being really shocked to see what happened. What's your response to the fact that that is able even to be on the telly now? Paperback and e-book.
That's all from us for today. Back tomorrow, of course, at 6 a.m.
And this morning, right now, it's time for Morning Live with Gethin and Kim.